The Betty Webster Award is handed out to an individual every year whose contributions to the Canadian orchestral community have been both extremely impactful as well as under-recognized. In addition, each year carries with it a new theme, and the theme for 2025 was Courage. This year's committee, made up of 5 amazing orchestral professionals from all across the country, was seeking nominees who have acted with bravery and a high ethical standard despite discouragement, dissent, or the potential for negative personal consequences. This year's winner is synonymous with the theme of 2025, as well as the theme of the Betty Webster Award. She has touched so many musicians and so many human beings across this country for literally decades. And it is because of that commitment over such a long period of time to music, to humanity, to her students, and to her community, that this year's winner of the Betty Webster Award is Yvonne de Roller. Congratulations, Yvonne.
It is my great pleasure to congratulate Yvonne de Roller on receiving this incredibly prestigious award. Yvonne is the kind of person who embodies the very best of what music can mean in a community. She's given tirelessly of her time and energy, whether playing for patients in hospice care, serving diligently on boards and committees, or supporting the youth orchestra with wisdom and kindness. She's made sure that no young person who came across her path was ever barred from music for financial reasons. And she's been an unfailing source of guidance, care, and encouragement to many. Through her service, she's strengthened not only the musical life of the community in Halifax and wider Nova Scotia, and actually across Canada, but also its spirit of compassion and inclusivity. This award is such a well-deserved recognition of your extraordinary service on a national level, and I hope you are surrounded by the love and gratitude of everyone whose lives you've touched. Congratulations, Yvonne.
It makes me so happy to see my former teacher be recognized for her passion and altruism. Yvonne's always been the people's champion within the HRM, fostering community spirit and emboldening her students always felt like it was her priority. Where other teachers aim to make a name for themselves, Yvonne dedicated herself to elevating those around her, whether it be helping people like myself and my brother find ways to attend programs like the Nova Scotia Youth Orchestra, or being the spark that creates a lifelong passion for music. Without her, I would have never made it to where I am today. I can't think of anyone more deserving to be recognized at a national level, and it brings me so much incredible happiness to see good people be rewarded for their public-spirited nature.
Yvonne's contributions to the development of orchestral music in Nova Scotia are unmatched. Yvonne and I work most closely with the Nova Scotia Youth Orchestra, a program that she nurtured and grew for many years. Yvonne's goal for Nova Scotia was to develop a top-notch orchestral scene, right from the beginning, Suzuki students, through the youth orchestra, to a thriving symphony in Nova Scotia. Her legacy of performing, teaching, managing, organizing, and giving is unmatched in the history of orchestral music in Nova Scotia over the past 50 years. Bravo, Yvonne. Thank you so much. And congratulations for receiving the Betty Webster Award.
Every year, we ask the Orchestras Canada Board to approve a theme for the Betty Webster Award, a theme that resonates with OC's work, that will inspire potential nominators, and that will provide the jury with some way of ranking what are invariably amazing nominations. We publicize the call for nominations, we wait, fingers crossed, for remarkable things to come our way, and when they come in, we wonder what insights this year's jury will bring. And every year, all of these things miraculously happen better than we ever could have dreamed. They happen because of generosity, because nominators like Holly Matheson take the time to share compelling stories of inspiring people, and because volunteer jurors like Jalem Bate, Matthew Baird, Heather Wooten, Marie-Claire Lavigueur, and Tanya Charles read the nominations and achieve consensus with insight, respect, and, dare I say it, love. On behalf of all of us, thanks to all of you. And with no further ado, let's hear from this year's Betty Webster Award winner, Yvonne de Roller.
Thanks so much, Catherine, and thank you, Orchestras Canada. To say the least, receiving the 2025 Betty Webster Award has come as quite a shock. I've been told that this year's award centers around courage. While my close friends know too well the details of my horrendous childhood and the lifelong struggles with mental health, it's exactly those struggles that have brought me to where I am today. You see, my public school music teacher, Mrs. Nancy Grammer, could see what I was going through, and I think she took me on as one of her special projects. She was my mentor, she was my savior in every possible way. My entire career has been about trying to pay that profound gift forward. I've always valued music education because of what it gave me. In my decades of private teaching, I often felt more like a therapist than a musician, and I've tried my best to teach with humor and love. Sometimes that also meant giving instruments to students or years of free lessons. No child should grow up without music in their life. After playing in the Symphony Musicians Trust Society Orchestra while we looked for a new board and funding, I auditioned again and kept my seat in the new Symphony of Nova Scotia. It was that same year that I began coaching for the Nova Scotia Youth Orchestra, which I continued up until last year. In the early 2000s, I became secretary and then served as president of the NSYO board for 2 years. After that, I became the managing director for 10 years. I've given the Betty Webster Prize money to the Nova Scotia Youth Orchestra Foundation to support the continuation of nearly 50 years of bringing the gift of music to our young people here. I dedicate this award to every musician I've shared the stage with all these decades, because every single one of them has acted with courage. Every single one of them has struggled in their daily lives. Yet, we practice and perform in order to bring a respite to our audiences through music, even if it's just for a couple of hours. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful and unexpected recognition, and a special hug to Holly Matheson. Please support your own local orchestra and foundation.